When you get in that cold water, it creates this fight or flight response. And if you're able to overcome that flight, you're kind of creating new neural pathways in your brain and almost healing your brain. It's like releases these feel-good endorphins, for lack of a better term. So a lot of good things for your mental health, for sure.
Yeah.
This is The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. Whether you're a seasoned real estate expert, a first-time home buyer, or if you're simply passionate about hearing small business stories, this is the podcast for you. Join us as we dive deep into the world of real estate and beyond.
Welcome to The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. I am your host, Janine Igliani, and my guest today is Matt Kuiper with Desert Plunge. And I'm super pumped because you guys are going to learn more than you would ever want to know all about cold plunging, but also starting a business and mental health and all of that really good stuff. So Matt, thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this will be fun. So tell me about yourself, kind of where did you grow up, all of that.
Yeah, so I'm a Arizona native, grew up here, born and raised. Born in Mesa, grew up in Tempe.
Nice.
And then been in Chandler ever since I've been 18. So love Arizona. Probably would never move.
Love it. Me too.
Love the weather here.
Yes, me too.
Always sunny is my kind of place. So
you know what? And today is a little overcast, right?
Yeah.
And we were just saying this earlier. When it's like this, I just want to go home and cuddle in bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why I live in Arizona, because the sunshine just makes me feel alive. So yes, I agree with you.
The sun is huge. I love just getting outside and getting the sun. So yeah. But like I said, grew up here. And then I met my wife. I actually met her in California, Brie. And then she moved out here shortly after we met. And then we've been in Chandler ever since. We've got 2 kids, Riley and Mason.
How old are they?
Riley is 12, almost 13, and Mason's 11.
And you guys have some dogs too.
We have 2 dogs. We've got a golden doodle and then a double doodle.
I love it.
So we've got the doodles.
We love the doodles over here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's how we know each other. Our kids go to school together. Mm-hmm. Our sons are friends. And yeah, you guys are just an awesome family. It's been cool. I feel like I've been able to have an outsider's view on your journey, because this has really been a journey, and see you grow this business from absolutely an idea to what's now a thriving business, so much so that you quit your full-time job. This is it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, it has been definitely scary.
Yeah.
I've been right out of high school. I started working with a company called K2 Electric. I went through the apprenticeship program, and then kind of moved my way up through the company into the executive team, and at one point became a partner. I was really enjoying it, and I mean, I was able to just put my head down and work, and that's what I really liked about it. And I was working with one of my best friends, great family company.
You're working, you have a successful career, but something wasn't working.
I decided it was growing really fast. The company was getting really big. And it was something that I still enjoyed, but I just felt something was missing. I didn't have the passion for it anymore. And this goes back to 2019. I had a really bad, it was like a mental breakdown, a nervous breakdown. I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But it was severe anxiety, depression, insomnia. And it really kind of took over my life. And it was really 7 months where I was really struggling with that. And I couldn't figure out what was going on, how to solve it. And at this time, still highly involved with K2 Electric, executive in the company. But I was trying to figure out, my mental health issues at the same time. So my brother actually introduced me or started talking about this guy called Wim Hof, who does, he's an extreme Dutch athlete who does cold exposure, and breath work. Mm-hmm. So I found this place, a wellness center in Arcadia, and they were one of the first companies that did cold therapy. So I went there, did a cold plunge, and that first night, it just reset my brain almost immediately. That fog that had been hovering over me, that depression, anxiety. It was almost gone immediately. I went home.
Hold on really quick. I have to stop you because there's some people that are probably like, what is a cold plunge?
Yeah.
So what is a cold plunge?
So cold plunge is cold water.
Okay.
So if you think, a lot of athletes used to do it, they'd fill up a big tank and put a bunch of ice in it. And essentially that's what it is. But the cold plunges, a lot of them or most of them now have a chiller system where it keeps the water cold all the time. So you're not adding ice. I
know, I remember one time I broke my toe and Ray was like, put it in a bucket of ice water, and it was so painful.
Yeah.
But it was like, it helps with the healing. So maybe tell us what are the benefits of cold plunge?
Yeah. So there's a ton of benefits of cold plunge. And the science, there's just more science coming out backing it. For me, what I personally experienced was it helped with my mental health. The anxiety, the depression, better sleep. I think that's one of the huge parts was it helped me sleep better, which the lack of sleep was contributing to the anxiety and depression. So,
right. It's like a kind of like a cycle, I'm sure, right? You're not sleeping enough, you're stressed and anxious during the day. And then these two like kind of feed off of each other. And it can be really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Having my mom, I grew up with my mom having mental health issues. She had a nervous breakdown and it was really tough. And I think about, gosh, what if she would have even known about something like this? So super cool that you even found that. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the thing for mental health is when you get in that cold water, it creates this fight or flight response. And if you're able to overcome that flight, you're kind of creating new neural pathways in your brain and almost healing your brain. It's like releases these feel good endorphins, for lack of a better term. So a lot of good things for your mental health for sure.
Yeah.
But beyond mental health, I mean, it's great for inflammation in your body. One positive thing that I also got from it that I wasn't expecting was I think due to my stress too, but I clench and grind my teeth real bad at night. So I'd wake up with headaches all the time. My neck hurt all the time. And that's almost completely gone away. I would have migraines 3 to 4 times a week. Wow. And now they're very few and far between where I even get a headache. So that's been a pretty positive
That's
impact
amazing.
that's came from it.
Do you think that it's because it's a physical thing or it's a mental? I mean, I know kind of what you're saying is like, I would argue more the physical, your body reacting, right? And getting whatever. But then don't you think, I mean, I know there's emotional and mental health benefits, but just that ability to like do hard things, right? And to be like, no, I'm going to, like you said, that fight or flight. I want to get out of the water.
Yeah.
This is freezing cold, but I'm going to stick it out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the mental discipline it takes to do that. And what you're creating by forcing yourself to get in cold water is huge. Yeah. Cause if anything, it does that. It's going to create self-discipline for sure. Because I've been doing it for, 4 years now and I still have to give myself a pep talk to get in cold water. It's not like I've gotten used to it.
Right.
So it's definitely helped with mental discipline for sure. But I think, they kind of go hand in hand as far as like, the mental health and the physical benefits. I think a lot of mental health can cause physical side effects, right? So if you address the mental health side of things, then your physical aches and pains or whatever you have going on can get better as well.
Yeah.
So
I love that. So you guys have so tell me when you had the idea, you did a cold plunge. Like, how do you go from experiencing a cold plunge and starting to be like, wow, this is really helping me I want to start my own business.
Yeah. So as soon as I realized how much cold exposure was helping me, I was like, man, this is awesome. I just wanted to tell everybody about it. And I'm like, at that time, there weren't a lot of cold plunge companies out there. There's Morosco Forge, and then the Plunge, and both very expensive options. So both good companies, but it's like, what can we do to like, if people can't afford that, can we create a more affordable model that's a little bit more budget friendly, but not sacrificing quality. And that's kind of when I started getting my wheels turning, and didn't do anything right away. Cause I was still heavily involved in K2 and didn't really have any intentions of changing my career. But I just kept getting pulled back to it. And so then I finally just made one. I made one out of a stock tank, sold a few of them to some friends and family.
Did you make it thinking I'm going to make this for myself, or was it let me make a prototype, like maybe I can sell these? What was your intention when you set out to do that first one? I
think it was more just to experiment with it and have fun. I didn't have a ton of intention around like creating a business around it. Like if a few people wanted to buy it, that'd be cool. It wasn't scalable. Like I was like, in my mind, like this is not a scalable model. So like, yeah, I can make some and make a few and some people will buy them, but didn't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
But I sold like 5 or 6 of them. But then I had a friend reach out and he had a Grizzly cooler and he was just filling it up with ice and he would plunge in that.
Oh, okay.
But then he'd have to refill it every couple of days. And that's a lot of money in ice.
Oh, I'm sure.
It didn't stay cold long enough. So he's like, hey, could you convert this to a cold plunge for me? I didn't really want to do it. And I'm like, I'll give it a shot. And I did it. It was super easy. Super practical. The insulation is insane. So it's great for, hot weather climates. And is like, okay, this is like a price point where we can get to where people can afford it.
That's awesome.
So that was the first one I did for a buddy. And then I remember I was out of town. I was in Israel actually on a trip in Israel. And then Brie just started selling them. And then I got back from Israel and like she had sold 10.
Oh my gosh. She's like, honey, you have to make a batch.
Yeah. So I just came home and made them and then it took off from there.
That's
this is really
so cool.
at the beginning of the year with this model.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool. Yeah. Cause I was going to ask you, I know that you kind of have gone through some different models. So you feel like you really have perfected it now. Yeah. And now you guys have really grown. So I want to touch on that really quick about starting a business and kind of learning through that. And I love that it seems like it's just grown very organically for you guys. At what point did you get intentional where you're like, no, we're going to make this a legit business? So much so that now this is your full-time career.
Yeah. Well, at first I thought I could do it part-time and just like have something on the side that I really enjoyed doing. Because this is what I'm passionate about because it changed my life. And while I loved K2, I'd been there for 20 years. I kind of grew up there, but like I mentioned earlier, something was just kind of missing and I kept getting pulled back to these cold plunges. And I just saw an opportunity. Both Brie and I saw an opportunity and to get it to go where we wanted it to go, it wasn't going to happen unless I dedicated myself full time to it. And I started realizing that pretty quickly early on. I tried to hang on doing both things as long as I possibly could, but it just wasn't practical. Also having a family and trying to be a dad and a husband at the same time. So I just finally made the decision. I'm going all in on Desert Plunge. So
I love that. So you guys have done a great job with getting the word out there. Social media has been a big part of that. What are some other ways that you guys have promoted Desert Plunge?
Yeah. A lot of it has been social media and then word of mouth by friends and family and people that have our product. Like initially that's really all it was word of mouth and people sharing. We started doing some Google Ads stuff, experimenting with that. That's a whole new world.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting, but really just, getting it to like-minded people that want to share a product, that want to help see us grow. So that's really what we're doing.
You guys truly, through your product, I'm sure through your service, created what we call in my world raving fans, where these people were like, I love what doing. I love this product. I want to tell other people. They're in love with it so much, you don't even have to ask them. They just want to go out and shout it out and tell others about it, which is amazing. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you shared your story. So, and maybe we can even go kind of deeper into where you were having tons of anxiety, stress, not sleeping well, headaches, and what happened? How did you just kept cold plunging. Like, what does that healing look like? How do you go from that to where you are today?
I mean, I was just very disciplined with it. Like, I just saw the positive effects it had on me, and nothing else had worked. So I'm like, okay, this is doing something, so I'm going to stick with it. I mean, I obviously, I made sure I was exercising daily. I did other things to help kind of fortify it as well. Sunlight's great, exercise, getting good sleep, going to bed on time. But I would drive from Chandler to Arcadia every morning just to cold plunge.
Wow. So once a day?
I was doing it twice a day because I started in the winter. So I'd drive to Arcadia in the morning, and then at home I'd do it in my pool. And then that was about in March. So then it was starting to warm up, and then March of 2020, COVID hit. So I was like, okay, I saw the writing on the wall. They're probably going to shut down. So I actually made one out of a chest freezer.
Okay.
I converted a chest freezer and made a cold plunge out of that. So that kept me going through 2020. They weren't shut down that long. They were shut down about a month, but I was able to continue doing cold exposure while they were shut down. But yeah, I mean, I think I did it. I would do it twice a day. I never missed a day for a year, at least a year. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, I was even on vacation. I remember we were in Hawaii. I literally I went to the ice machine and emptied the whole thing out, hauled it up to the bathtub, and put it in the bathtub in our hotel room.
That's amazing. If someone is looking to start out and they've never cold plunged before, what would you say to them?
It can definitely be daunting to people. It doesn't have to be 39 degrees or 37 degrees. Really anything around 60, 55 degrees, anything below that, you're getting the health benefits from. So start in warmer water. And I mean, 60 degrees is still cold. 55 degrees is still really cold. So start there, shoot for 30 seconds the first time. And then really you kind of want to be around 90 seconds to 3 minutes, to get the benefits. But you don't have to go all in your first time. Just take it slow. I mean, you could even try and start with cold showers.
Yeah. I've heard that, right? Like just first thing in the morning, getting in a cold shower can be really good for you too.
Yeah. First thing in the morning is great because it just wakes your whole system up. It's the hardest time to do it, but it's also the best time to do it.
So in starting a new business, what have been some of your challenges? Because we have a lot of entrepreneurs that will be listening to this that are starting a new business. They probably have a passion and they're like, I have to do this, but there's pitfalls. So how do you keep going even when it's tough?
Yeah. I mean, I thought I was well prepared because of my past experience, but that was coming into an existing business and it was much easier. Starting a brand new business, especially it's more like an e-commerce business. It's hard. So I think, the one thing that I've been able to do is just keep going forward every day.
Yeah.
Cause like there's plenty of times where I just wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Just take the easy path.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Go do something else.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of bad days where you're like, oh my gosh, like what is happening? But just knowing, like, especially if you really feel called to do it and you're passionate about it, just keep moving forward because it always gets better. Then you're going to have setbacks, but then you'll be able to move forward again. And I guess, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I've kind of gotten used to that now and not gotten so discouraged when I have those setbacks now and just know, okay, We're going to get through this. There's always a solution to every problem.
Yep.
That's what I tell myself.
Yep.
So that's kind of helped me.
I love that.
Along the way.
I love that idea of letting your passion drive you and expect that there will be hard times. And when that happens, you're like, okay, this is normal. I was ready for this, but you keep going.
Yeah.
Don't give up. I think a lot of people give up in a lot of things, right? Because they don't see that success fast enough.
Yeah.
And what they are missing out on is had they just stuck it out, that success was probably right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to persevere even when it's tough, and especially when you feel called, it makes it a little bit easier, right?
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
awesome. So you guys are doing, what you're doing is like really helping people, and like it changed your life. You guys are, with your business, with your Desert Plunge, you're able to impact people to where it's changing their lives. So do you have any examples or stories of people that are like, this has really helped me so much?
Yeah, there's a lot of people, especially early on when we weren't selling as much. We got to talk to a lot of the customers that were buying from us a lot more and have a lot more one-on-one conversations, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. And I wish we could do more of that. I mean, some people that have bought from us are some of my closest friends now, which has been really cool. But there's some good testimonies on our website, on social media.
Awesome.
About, how just from the mental health aspect, it's been really helping people. There's been multiple conversations I've had with people at our warehouse that come in. I just get to hear their story and get to hear, what they've been through and kind of their success through cold plunging. It's been pretty cool.
That's cool. I have to ask, does Brie cold plunge?
She does. She goes in spurts.
Yeah.
So she'll do it for a while, then she'll stop. She likes it a lot warmer
than
I do. Like I like it like low 40s. She wants it almost 50 degrees. So we kind of fight over the temperature. I think we need to just put 2 cold plunges at our house. So
what about, you guys could do it together, right? Yeah. You guys would face each other. Okay. Yeah. What about the kids?
They'll do it. They'll especially do it when their friends are over, like, cause they're, they want to look good in the front of their friends. But they do it occasionally. Like I have to bribe my daughter sometimes to get in. Cause I think it's so good for them. Yeah. But I'm not going to force them, but I think just seeing me doing it, seeing Brie doing it, I think they'll eventually start catching on. Yeah,
we I think so much of what we do as parents, like they say, is caught, not taught.
Yeah.
And so when you're living that way, they just naturally see it. I see that with working out. Our girls are definitely they'll work out, go to the gym and all of that. But now I see Chase is starting to get into that and he'll like go for runs. He'll take our dog. And I love that. We don't have to tell him, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think it's just because he sees that's part of our daily life too,
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So what would you say, Matt? How do you compare? Because I feel like cold plunge has become like, it's everywhere, like I get a new ad on social media every day for these different companies. What would you say sets yours apart from others?
Yeah. So I think what sets ours apart is they do really well in the heat. There are a lot of cold plunges out there that will do well in the heat, but you have to upsize your chiller. So you're probably going to a 1 horsepower chiller, and then you're getting to the $7,000, $8,000, $9,000+ range. Where we use a 1/4 horsepower chiller, and we can do that because our tubs are so well insulated, and it's super energy efficient too. So it's not going to kill your electric bill. Mm-hmm. You don't have to spend the extra cost to upsize the whole unit for a more powerful cold plunge. They're just so well insulated. They hold temp so well. You can sit them out on your back patio in Arizona, and they do great. So that's pretty cool. That sets us apart from a lot of companies. And then, the one thing we also like is they're really childproof safe. It's got a hard top lid, and you can actually lock it. Whereas a lot of these other cold plunge companies, it's more of a spa type cover where it's a clip. So a lot of peace of mind. A lot of parents that for small kids.
Yeah. Where do people usually keep their cold plunge? Back patio?
Yeah, back patio or garage. Some people like to keep them in their gym. So yeah, we definitely recommend in Arizona, you try and keep them covered, at least covered in the summer for sure, just from the direct sunlight is hard on them, but other than that, they can pretty much be put anywhere.
Yeah. So your plunge will stay cold. You can customize the temperature, and then keep it clean, or how does that work?
Yeah. So you can kind of think of it like a house filtration system on it. It's got a filter. So the pump runs 24 hours a day, runs the water through the filter. You'll change your filter every 1 to 4 weeks, depending on how often you use it. And then we have a couple different sanitation options. We have something called ozone, which is on a timer. It comes on in the middle of the night. You don't have to worry about it. It kills viruses and bacteria.
Yeah.
So you can do that, or you can just treat it with a product called Serona. It's kind of like what you would do at the spa, where you check your levels and add as needed. Okay. So that helps with water clarity.
They just can keep the water. Do they have to empty it, or they can if they want?
You can, if you keep up with your water maintenance, which is not too hard to do, you can probably go 3 to 4 months without changing your water. So that's what a lot of people like too, especially, people that have just been using a tub and dumping ice in there. You got to change your water out probably once a week, where as opposed to a actual cold plunge unit that filters and has sanitation options, you can go 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So if someone is, really thinking seriously about getting into cold plunge, maybe they are struggling with mental health and have anxiety, depression, whatever, what would be like the next step? Should they try cold plunge? Should they just go all in, like jump in their pool? Like, what should they do?
Yeah. Next steps. Yeah. If you got a pool, try your pool. If you got a shower, try your shower. Now's the time to do it. If you're in Arizona, especially, you probably got another 2 months where you can do it. Right. But I guarantee you they will notice some positive effects from it. And I would say just start experimenting with it. See how your body reacts. I mean, some people need to do it twice a day. For mental health, it's going to give you that endorphin boost. I'm going to get this wrong, but I think it's like 250 times more powerful than like the endorphin rush that you get from cocaine.
Oh, wow.
That spike that you get. So it's pretty cool.
That's really
the effects
cool.
It has on you.
And I mean, I could go on and on. I feel like, gosh, that's so powerful, especially if you really are struggling from debilitating anxiety. And we know that is becoming more and more prevalent in our society, especially as people get more isolated from each other. So to have a tool that they could use that's so powerful, that doesn't involve getting on medicine, right? Yeah.
And, for me, I think there's a time and place for medication. For sure. But also, like if you can avoid it, I mean, I personally believe that's the best route to go, right? And plus a lot of medications have a lot of side effects. Yeah. So some people just can't use medication. So I've always been, the past probably 15, 20 years of my life, I've tried to go as natural as possible. So a simple solution as cold water, it's pretty cool that can help aid you in your mental health and stress, anxiety, sleep.
I love that.
Yeah.
I know that your family is important to you, Matt. Your faith is important to you. What would you say are some kind of pillars that you guys live by in your business?
Yeah. I'm pretty stubborn. I'm not going to sacrifice my morals to get a sale or to get our name out there. We have, given our product to some athletes and celebrities and stuff. There's also people that have wanted our product where I'm just like, no, I don't agree with who you are as a person. And I don't think you'd represent our brand well, even though it'd probably help our business grow a lot. I'm not willing to sacrifice that and our reputation. So that's something we've always stood by. Where Brie and I are just followers of Jesus. We love Jesus. So we just want to love Jesus and love people through this company. And we want to help as many people as possible. And we feel we're starting to do a pretty good job of that through this company.
That is super cool. I think that's like a great way to end on. I have a little speed round for you though before we close. Is that okay? Yeah. You ready? Yeah. Just rapid fire questions, okay? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? What's your favorite food?
I'd have to say cornbread.
Oh, I love a good cornbread. Favorite color?
Light blue.
Okay. Favorite book?
It would be the Dark Tower series by Stephen King.
Oh.
I think it's 7.
Is it like a thriller or something?
Oh yeah, it's sci-fi thriller.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite podcast? Second to this one, of course.
I like a lot of Tim Ferriss. I listen to a lot of Tim Ferriss stuff.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Favorite sound?
Maybe rain.
I love that. And then last but not least, favorite vacation you've ever been on?
Oh man, that's tough. We just went to, we were in Yellowstone last summer, but then we also went to a camp in New York, upstate New York. It was called Camp of the Woods. And if anybody ever gets a chance to check it out, I would highly recommend it. It's like you went back in time in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
Your kids can run around all day. Don't have to worry about them. The adults get to do their own thing, but then you get plenty of time as a family as well. But there's so much stuff to do there. Beautiful up there in upstate New York.
I love it.
We were there for a week. We got a cabin on the lake.
Yeah.
We're there with a bunch of friends. So that was probably one of the best vacations we ever took. That was Camp of the Woods. We did that last summer too.
That sounds amazing. Well, thanks, Matt, for being here. If someone wants to reach out to you, wants to buy a Desert Plunge, how do they connect with you?
Yeah, you can check us out on our Instagram. It's at Desert Plunge. Or just go to desertplunge.com, and all that info is right on our website.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. Make sure to follow or subscribe to the Home Selling Team on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify to stay up to date with our podcast.